You've spent your whole life feeling like a room with the windows left wide open, not metaphorically in a poetic sense, but in a way that feels uncomfortably real. You notice things before they are spoken. You sense shifts in energy before anyone else even realizes something has changed. You feel the storm long before the first cloud appears. You walk into a room and you don't just see people, you feel them, their hidden aches, their quiet disappointments, the words they swallowed instead of speaking, the emotions they've buried so deep they've convinced themselves they're not there. And somehow, without trying, you carry pieces of it all. 8 months ago, we started a conversation. Thousands of you watched the video on the signs of being a healer, and something unlocked. It wasn't just recognition, it was relief. You finally had language for what you've always felt. The exhaustion that doesn't match your activity. The deep empathy that feels like both a gift and a weight. The knowing that doesn't come from logic, but from something deeper you can't easily explain. But I've read your comments since then. And beneath the appreciation, there's been something else growing quietly. Confusion, fatigue, even overwhelm. Many of you are asking the same question in different ways. How do I live like this without losing myself in it? Because the truth is, awareness alone is not enough. Recognition without structure becomes heaviness. Sensitivity without boundaries becomes depletion. And what once felt like a gift slowly starts to feel like a drain. Today, we bridge that gap. The space between the mystical understanding of who you are and the practical reality of how you live every single day without burning out from your own depth. Being a healer in 2026 is harder than ever, not because your gift is wrong, but because the world is louder than it has ever been. You are constantly plugged into a stream of collective anxiety, endless noise, emotional overload, digital intensity. Every scroll, every conversation, every environment pulls something from you. And if you don't have structure, if you don't have grounding, your gift stops feeling like light and starts feeling like weight. You become a sponge in a world that never stops pouring. You absorb without meaning to. You carry what was never yours to hold. And slowly, quietly, you begin to forget where you end and the world begins. This is where most people misunderstand the path. They think healing is about feeling more. But in truth, sustainable healing is about learning how to filter, how to stay open without becoming unguarded, how to stay sensitive without becoming consumed. Because your gift was never meant to break you. It was meant to be directed, contained, honored, protected. And that is what most people were never taught. So today is not about telling you to feel less or shut down. It's about learning how to stay you while still being connected to everything you feel. And it begins with 5 simple but powerful habits, practical anchors that keep your energy from scattering and help you return to yourself, no matter what the world throws at you. Habit number 1 is the morning seal. Before you let the world in, before the noise, the opinions, the demands, you set your boundary. This is not superstition. It is discipline for a sensitive system. The spiritual, before you speak, scroll, or react to anything outside of you. Visualize a soft blue light forming around your body, not as something dramatic, but as something calm and steady, like a quiet field around you that filters what is yours and what is not. You are not closing yourself off. You are defining your space. The practical. For the first 30 minutes of your day, do not open social media, messages, or news. Because the moment you wake up and consume other people's thoughts, problems, and emotions, your energy is no longer yours. You start the day reacting instead of grounding. And a healer who starts in reaction loses their center before the day even begins. This habit is about ownership. Before the world touches you, you must first return to yourself. Habit number 2 is the sensory deprivation. Healers are often high-sensation individuals. That means your system isn't just taking in life, it's amplifying it. You don't only hear conversations, you feel the tone beneath them. You don't just observe emotions, you absorb them. Over time, that constant input creates internal noise that you don't even realize you're carrying. The practical. You need 10 minutes of total quiet in the middle of your day. Not background music, not a podcast, not even low-level scrolling. Just silence. Sit somewhere undisturbed and let your senses stop reaching outward. The combined twist. This is not a break from productivity. It is a reset for your nervous system. In that silence, your body begins to release what it has absorbed from others. The emotional static starts to settle. Thoughts that weren't yours begin to fade. And underneath it all, you start to hear your own internal rhythm again. Because without intentional quiet, a healer doesn't rest. They accumulate noise. Habit number 3 is the water reset. Water has always been used across cultures as a symbolic cleanser, not just of the body, but of what we carry unseen. For a healer, this becomes a grounding ritual, not superstition. The practical. Whenever you return home from crowded places, social interactions, or emotionally intense environments, wash your hands and forearms with cold water. Do it slowly, intentionally, without rushing to the next thing. The spiritual. As the water runs over your skin, visualize it pulling away the emotional residue you've picked up throughout the day. The stress of strangers, the heaviness of conversations, the energy of rooms you walked through, all of it being released back into the flow and no longer stored in you. This simple act becomes a signal to your system. I am no longer in that space. I am no longer carrying what was there. I am back in my own energy. Over time, your body begins to recognize this ritual as a reset point, helping you separate your inner self from the world you move through. Habit number 4 is guarding the gates of your mind. As a healer, you don't just observe the world, you absorb it. What you repeatedly see becomes what your nervous system normalizes. That's why your mind cannot be left unprotected. The practical. Audit your digital diet with honesty. Notice what you're feeding your attention daily. If you are following accounts that thrive on outrage, comparison, gossip, fear, or chaos, you are not just watching. You are ingesting it. Unfollow them. Not later. Today. Your peace is not designed to coexist with constant emotional pollution. The godly twist. Replace that noise with a scriptural filter. Philippians 4:8 reminds you to set your mind on what is true, noble, pure, and praiseworthy. So when a heavy thought enters your mind, pause and test it. Does this align with what God says about me? Or is this a weight the world is trying to assign to me? If it doesn't align, you are not obligated to carry it. You have divine permission to release it and return to truth. Finally, you must embrace the habit of anointed rest. Many healers carry a silent guilt when they slow down, as if resting means they are abandoning people, as if sleep, stillness, or doing nothing is selfish in a world that is hurting. But that belief is not truth. It is pressure disguised as purpose. The practical. Schedule your rest the same way you would schedule something life-critical. Not as an afterthought, but as a non-negotiable appointment. Because for a healer, rest is not optional maintenance. It is restoration of the very system that allows you to give it all. The emotional grip. Remember this. When the storm was raging, Jesus was asleep in the boat. Not because he didn't care, but because he was anchored in something deeper than the chaos around him. When you choose rest, you are not withdrawing from responsibility. You are declaring trust. You are saying, "The world does not collapse when I pause, because I am not the one holding it together." That is the shift. Rest becomes worship, and surrender becomes strength. Your gift was never meant to drain you. It was never designed to become a burden you carry until you collapse. It was meant to flow through you, clean, guided, and protected. When you combine spiritual awareness with practical habits, you stop leaking energy and start honoring the healer within. These habits are not restrictions, they are safeguards. They help you remain open without being overwhelmed, compassionate without being consumed, and present without losing yourself. If this message spoke to you, comment the word "grounded" below. It lets me know who is ready for the next level of this journey. And if you haven't seen the original signs yet, click the link in the comments now to discover whether you truly carry the healer's mark.